Well, that's
Live.
not true. I was actually not born ready. I was born with one left.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to mute him. And hi, guys. Welcome to the Take 3 Reactors Summit, where people talk when they're not supposed to. And I try not to yell at people. Yep. So that's where we're at in life right now. How are you all? Don't answer because we aren't going to respond. Anyway, we got a great panel. We got a lot of Schmoedown stuff to talk about. It's been a day, guys. I don't know how you're feeling, but it's been a day. But the good thing is we have a lot of great Schmoedown stuff to talk about, which will make me feel a lot better about life. And we have a good panel to talk about it. We've got Abe, as always, jumping in when he wants to talk, but mainly just making sure the camera goes to whoever's talking. Abe, how are you?
Christian Smith, I'm doing perfectly. I will not have opinions on this panel because I'm really excited because my macarons came out pretty good for the second time I made it. I have to say, I never have gotten peace out of fucking... I don't care. I don't have to swear. To a piece of food so much like a macarons. They're a challenge. You should take it seriously.
Perfect. I won't bake macaroons. I love baking, but macaroons, I don't like failure. And macaroons would make me fail at life. And I have no patience. And you have to be really patient with those. So, yeah, it's not going to happen. Anyway, ridiculous. So we are going to be jumping over to Matt Kearns. How's it going, Matt?
Going good. I'm very excited to talk about the Houston live event, particularly the main event. The first one, who was it? Was it a senior citizen match? I think. I don't even care.
Hey! We're gonna go to Malcolm because you offend me, Matthew.
Oh, I see.
You offend me, Matthew.
Listen, I'm sorry. You and Roka's AAP card can go and hang out together whenever you like.
You're just jealous. You're jealous
of his cane. Yeah, it's pretty cool cane.
I'm pretty sure Andrew Guy was the one with the cane, but whatever. I thought you were supposed to be an action industries expert. Whatever. Malcolm, Lay, how is it going? Are you going to offend me as well?
I mean, it's pretty good. We're going to talk about the Houston live event. I don't think I've seen anyone complaining about anything in the MTS page at all. And we're going to also talk about cloning and robots.
Well, we might. We very well might.
AI revolution is coming, right?
All right. So we got a lot to talk about today.
Wait, we're not going to have this little music I always play for the interest?
Do you want to have the music?
Sure.
Did you last let your heart
Oh my God!
I can open your eyes.
Okay, turn it up before we get.
Yeah, I don't want to get any.
Thank you. All right, so we got a lot of Schmoedown to talk about and no Aladdin to talk about, but we have great matches: the Founding Fathers versus Double Toasted, as well as Ben Bateman versus Andrew Guy. These were up live last week and then replayed this week. So if you caught it either week, good for you. If you haven't caught it yet, you definitely should. And we're gonna obviously spoil all the matches, so don't listen to us and go watch the matches. Okay. All right. So the first match was the Founding Fathers versus Double Toasted. This was a very one-sided match. Less one-sided than the next match that we're going to talk about. Unfortunately, I actually was really surprised with Double Toasted in their round one. I thought they did really well. And unfortunately, the round two just wasn't a good category for them. You get Roka's main category, and yeah, you can't give him points on that, and they gave him quite a few points, all of the points actually, and then just Founding Fathers getting lucky and getting Spinner's Choice on theirs. It was not Double Toasted's game. I think if they had had a little more luck in the wheel round, it actually could have gone to a round three. I don't think the end result would have been different, but at the same time, I think maybe they would have moved out of that KO territory and gotten a little closer to actually, being competitive in the match. Unfortunately, the wheel just didn't like them. So let's go over to Malcolm for his thoughts on this match between the Founding Fathers and Double Toasted.
Yeah, this was an interesting match. Like Double Toast, like we haven't seen for a while, so it's like just them coming back for this match was rather. So I didn't really know, couldn't remember say how good they actually were, but they did really solid in round one. Then it all sort of fell off in round two when they were stuck with Restons, which is obviously one of Roka's strengths and stuff, and Founding Fathers got Spinner's Choice, which obviously helped them in their favour. So.
Yeah, I mean, Spinner's Choice is always going to be somewhat of a kiss of death for any team, but especially when you go up against a team like the Founding Fathers, where they know their strengths so well. And Roka, I don't remember his percentage for Westerns, but it's really high. It's like in the 90 percentile or 90%, not my 90 percentile. Sorry, my analytic brain from my actual job just kind of like wanted to punch me in the face for getting that wrong just now. But yeah, it's really high. It's like high 90s, and that's really impressive. And then Dan going Kubrick, I thought was really interesting because it's not technically a strength that he usually lists out as a strength, but then he obviously nailed it 100%. And I think now it's probably going to be listed under his strengths. But I just was really impressed with the way that the Founding Fathers just took everything in stride. They went through round one, no problem. And then round two hit and they just, they kept everything pretty even. Like they didn't, get in their own heads. They just played the game. And I really liked that. I thought it was a different take for them. Because sometimes they get a little fiery, especially the Roka of the group. But Matt, what did you think of this match between Founding Fathers and Double Toasted?
I honestly wasn't shocked by the outcome of this match. Maybe I was shocked that it ended in a knockout, but I was kind of sure that Founding Fathers was going to win. If for nothing else, Double Toasted hadn't played in a very, very long time. And it, with the live crowd and everything, they didn't actually, the round one wasn't terrible. It was really the round two that did them in. And that is just something that happens when you play against, I don't even want to say when you play against Founding Fathers, just when you get that bad spin of you get someone else's strength and not like it's kind of strength like Roka, it is biopics and Westerns. Like he knows more about them than any other competitor competing. It just happens. And it sucks for Double Toasted. Good on Founding Fathers for, kind of really commanding that game and not getting really like cocky at any point. Yeah, it was a blowout. But I mean, hopefully we get to see Double Toasted again, and it's going to be interesting to see where this win propels Founding Fathers in like title contention. Like how far are they from?
Well, they said it during the thing. They get to go up against Corruption next, and then I believe that's a number one contender match.
See, listen, I after
don't
the
pay attention
event, I completely forgot about pretty much anything that happened in part one. Don't blame me. And listen, Roka, of course he's good at Westerns. How could you not be good about films made about the decade you grew up in?
Oh my! Well, what?
Actually, on that note, I think that
you're gonna kill Roka too. Yay!
No,
let's do it.
No, I think that number one contenders match may not happen if they decide to use the title shot on the Char Wolves.
Yeah, so there was a little bit of discussion about that in the post-match interview of when Dan was going to use his winner of the free-for-all title shot, right? And how he was going to use it. It could be used for teams. I'm not so sure, but I kind of want him to use it like the end of the match, which we definitely should talk about the end of the whole match where they kind of did their Rocky thing and they kind of went up against each other. I kind of like that. Like, I wish Dan could just say, I don't want a title shot. I want a number one contender shot, and I want it between me and John Roca. I would really like to see a rematch between these guys. I think that the end of the entire event, I know we're jumping ahead of ourselves here, but that was such a fun ending. Definitely great. Pat Campbell, our good friend PJ, was the one who thought that up, and he's the best. So seriously, such a fun ending. But I that made me really want to watch that match happen again.
No, it was fun on two accounts. It was fun of like if you get the reference, it's really funny. Like, if you know Rocky 3 and you know that ending and what that ending, that movie signified for Rocky and Apollo, you're like, oh yeah, that kind of is Merlin Roca. But I also would think that, like, putting them in a singles match again and kind of seeing where, kind of seeing Roca play Merle again and could Roca beat Merle? I kind of want it. For right now, it was a really great ending. I kind of want all the live events to now have like ending scenes, because like the fun thing is they are kind of like mini movies for the Schmoedown, these live events. Like, they are storylines build up to these points, and we do get they're mini movies, and I kind of like that ending, that it felt the freeze frame and Eye of the Tiger, which here's hoping the YouTube bots don't get part 2 on us, because that would suck.
I kind of like this being a one-off thing, just because the where the event took place was this big gym with the ring and everything. That the specific ending they had was perfect. It was so perfect, and I loved just the energy and the camaraderie behind them. And I know it was very scripted, and that's fine. But it just seemed like a lot of fun, and they seemed like they were really enjoying themselves doing it. So I don't know that I want something like that happening at every event. I mean, if we want to have maybe some sort of like storyline or cutscene or something at the end of a match like this, that's fine. I don't need that at the end of every live match, though. I think when it makes sense to do something, definitely do it. And if, our good buddy PJ has more ideas in the future, then yeah, definitely do them. But otherwise, just, don't force it, is what I'm saying. But I would love it.
No, what she's saying is I'm wrong and she's right, just like every woman I've ever met in my life.
So about this, when they're going to use their title shot, I want to hear when you guys think that they're going to do it and when they should do it, because there's a lot that can happen here. Like, they can wait a little bit longer. They can use it now. Dan can use it for singles. He can give it away to someone for whatever. So Malcolm, when do you think they should use it? And when do you think they are actually going to do it? So your opinion on when it should happen, and then what you think is actually going to happen.
So we've got the title match with Char Wolves and Odd Couple coming up this week. So I think if they are going to use it for teams, because I'm pretty sure he can use it for teams if he wishes. Mm-hmm. But I think we'll find out after Char Wolves and Odd Couple if they're going to use it for the team's belts.
I think that's fair. I definitely would like to see this kind of resolution happen sooner, because I don't love when they kind of give you like hints and pieces at storylines and then they don't give you anything else for months and months. Like, either you have to keep bringing it up to keep it fresh, or you need to resolve it within a reasonable amount of time. And they've done long story arcs that have worked perfectly, but they've been able to keep those fresh by like adding new pieces to them. Like last year's Thad storyline was an entire year, but it felt really fresh because they kept changing it and adding new things to it. And if this is going to be a storyline where it's going to be, is he going to use his title shot? To me, it just doesn't seem like there's a lot they can do to build into that outside of smack talking other teams, which I would love to see Dan do any kind of smack talk, because he normally doesn't. But it's probably going to be John who does all the smack talk. I'm fine with that. I kind of want to watch John go back to being a heel. I miss it a little bit. little bit. Matt, when do you think they're going to use it, and when do you think they should use it?
Well, the first thing is just on the storyline thing. I agree with you that like something like the Char Wolves team forming, I felt like that was a good enough length of time where it was like they didn't immediately tell us, but they also didn't stretch it out for months and months. It was fairly quick that they were like, "Oh no, this is my teammate." Like I even loved when it was revealed they had the fake out of like, and get another cutscene where it's Vito can see it, and then Clark Wolf just walks in and was like, my God, it's exactly what we all thought, and we found out quickly. I think depending on the result of Char Wolves versus Odd Couple is going to affect if Founding Fathers use it for teams. Because I have a feeling that if Odd Couple wins, we could very easily see Founding Fathers approach them and be like, you're taking on us next for those belts. Like it just makes sense storylines with Roca and Snyder and Merle and, Merle and Draco and Snyder were all former stablemates in Lion's Den. Like, and also you have Roca and Merle are faces and the Odd Couple are heels. And it just makes sense that if they beat the Char Wolves and are probably going to be jerks about it, for the Founding Fathers to kind of step up and be like, all right, why don't you play us? So, which I would like to see. I would definitely like to see that.
Yeah, I think that's a fun idea. For me, what I want to see happen is for Dan to be really conservative with the belt and save it for himself for singles. So what in my mind would be really cool, and it's kind of what happened for Sam Levine when he used his title shot, was Dan plays a singles match for the belt, or he already has a belt, but someone plays him for the whoever, the kid comes in and decides to play him for the belt. Who knows? He's got a match coming up. He could totally go into contention. Who knows? But whoever comes up against Dan next goes for the belt. If Dan loses the belt, he challenges the winner to an immediate rematch. And we see them have to go through an entire new match again. I think that would be a lot of fun. It would be a nice little callback to when it happened to Dan the first time with Sam Levine. Get a little bit of his revenge on that happening to him, and we know he can perform well 2 times in a row in that kind of match because he's done it before. So that's I think would be a ton of fun. A nice callback to a really fun old scene, and man, I think what's going to happen is they're going to use it for teams, and I wish they wouldn't. I think that they're getting a number 1 contender match. I don't know why they want to use it for teams, but I think that's where it's going. And it is what it is. If they lose a number 1 contender match, they still have that under their belt, so that's fine. Malcolm's had his hand up, so what's going on, Malcolm?
No, I was actually thinking about something. If the Odd Couple do win the belts on the shoulders, which I don't think they are, what are the odds that Dan actually gives the title shot to Ben and Riley and we get a rematch with Who's the Boss versus the Odd Couple?
0.
For the
That
belt?
would be a lot of fun. I don't know that it's going to happen, but it would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Can I say something? Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, sure.
Okay. I just think like if you're consistent with what has happened in Schmoedown, usually when you defend your belt 2 times, you get a rematch once if you lose it, and that's probably gonna happen with the Char Wolves if they happen to lose on Friday. Sorry,
Friday.
If they happen to lose on Friday, so we will have the next match set up. So that's not time for that wouldn't be time for the Founding Fathers if we're consistent again with my mentioning of how many times the belts are defended by a year. Usually they're 5 times, unless the free-for-all catches in, math. That the Founding Fathers and Corruption winner will have to play before the tournament, right? My math is correct.
Potentially, it just kind of depends on.
And I just think Dan and Roca are the people, like, I think they want to play more. Like, you have to measure, like, they only have 3 matches. This is enough to go into a title match, whatever you want to say. They're so great.
Mm-hmm.
I think you have to keep your engine going, like, try it out. Usually a car doesn't work as good when it's first year. Usually it takes about a year, probably 6 months to get it going. Well, engine, 3 matches, 4 matches. I don't know.
Reference
That's
a movie, so I can
knowledge.
understand what you're talking about. So it's like in Gran Torino When Clint Eastwood is working on the Gran Torino, is that what you're trying to
Takes
tell me?
time for things to work perfectly, like
Yeah.
to get to achieve their full potential. And I think the founding fathers are getting there. And I think they need a bigger challenge. I don't think Double Toasted was, and I don't think and I don't think the Wildberries were. So
No, I don't think that they've played the type of match they need to have
yeah,
played to
I
get
think they
a
have to
match.
take
I think that it's a little too
critic,
soon.
Yeah.
I mean,
think
they
have to
beat
create
enough people. If they beat 3 people to get a title
Yeah.
match, but the people they've beaten to me just haven't been the right caliber.
Yeah,
and it is what it is.
Yeah.
they need to be the critically acclaim, corruption, or maybe a family if they keep going. I'm a queen.
Well,
still,
if they beat corruption in their next match, technically they would.
I honestly
but like
still am surprised that we ever got Founding Fathers versus Wildberries. I know that records lined up, but like, and listen, and I love Wildberries, but like, I mean, was anyone shocked that Founding Fathers won that match? Like, I think Corruption is going to be the first team they play where like they're playing them again, like where I can legitimately believe that they can lose that match. And I think those are the type of matches you need to be playing to go into title contention. That's the whole point. I know that there's the whole thing if you win X amount of matches in a row, but I just don't get, because like if I was to say playing the Star Wars League and I played Malcolm and I played Tom Dagnino and then I played, I don't know,
Abe.
I played Abe. Technically, I would be in contention to play Alex Damon, but like, I love these 3 guys, but like, are they the type of people I should be playing before I go and challenge Alex Damon for the Star Wars belt? No. And I know,
I mean, people. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Malcolm.
And I mean, on the when you mentioned rematches, they haven't done automatic rematches in a while. They've only ever given it for special occasions, but like they gave it to the Patriots for the epic run with the belts, but they don't really do automatic title matches.
Because I think the reason why they did that is because they were so dominant. There was really no team that matched them records-wise that made sense. That I'm okay with. If you hold the belt for a year, you lose the belt, you get an automatic match. That's just like, you are technically the number 1 contender now that you're not the champ. That makes sense. And I'm okay that there aren't. I still, listen, it was a great match, but I still don't think Roca should have played Riley at Collision for the belt. I thought that made absolutely no sense. He lost to Riley. He kind of bullied his way into making that triple threat match. That should have been Riley Merle too. That's what the match should have been.
You look at what is going to make a billing good, because a lot of this is we need to make sure people feel like they got their money's worth. Whatever, everyone's getting their money's worth. Back then, it was free entertainment, so you're definitely getting your money's worth. But it's billing. You want these matches to be something. And Roca bullying his way into the match is just, that's what they wanted the storyline to be.
No, I know, and that's exactly it. But
right, but like I get your point. It would have been cool to have Riley face Merle head on, but I think having like the 3 like titans of the league, and you can argue whether Riley is a titan of the league or not, but he definitely is.
Okay.
I know some people are going to, but I think he's fine. I think he definitely is one of the big hitters in the league, right? You have these 3 big hitters in the league going against each other. That is a huge match. Like, that's crazy to me. And it was such a fun match to watch. So I don't know, for me, if I was like, this is unfair, Roca doesn't belong in this match. Like, it just was a cool thing to watch. And Roca didn't win anyway. So what does it matter?
I don't know. I just like, I don't know, Kristen. Why can I not just make statements and not have you?
You're not allowed. But yeah, so when they're going to use this match, or when Dan's going to decide to use it, who knows? Really, Dan knows. I guess now, probably not even Dan knows. I'm guessing Christian knows.
Kristen, the interesting thing we have here, and this goes more to the end, is that there's a couple more people Dan could be given that title shot.
I don't know that. So
I don't
he's not going to give anyone a number 1. He's not going to give anyone a title shot against himself.
No, but I'm saying, like,
so singles, he's not using it for a single person.
Let's say Founding Fathers, let's say they fight and they get to Odd Couple or Char Wolves and they lose, maybe they give it to their stablemates. They give it to who's. I don't think they will. I'm just saying it is an option to bring up. I think they should, but
It would be interesting to see that happen, but I don't think it's going to, just because, you know,
the type of competitor Dan
is active in singles, right? He's got the belt. He's not giving anyone else a chance to win his belt off of him.
He's gonna save it for himself, which I would do. I would too. Okay. Maybe, well, no. If I was somehow the singles competitor, I probably would give it to Riley so he could.
If I was in a group with a team and I wasn't playing in teams, I would give them the chance. But because I'm also playing in teams and I'm this close to getting
the belt, just good to save.
For me, I don't think that he's giving it up.
It's a good thing for him to have in his back pocket for either singles or teams, because if he loses the singles belt, it's a good thing to have so that he could do an immediate rematch. I mean, I'm sure he might be given an immediate rematch, but I'd still like to have that, or for teams, just for Founding Fathers to have. It was just an option I wanted to bring. People were talking about in the chat.
Yeah, the chat's really active, and there's
the boss should have the belt, and I agreed with that. So.
There's a lot going on in the chat that I want to talk about, but we do have to talk about the second match, and there is so much that happens in this second match, so we could literally be talking about it for the rest of our lives, I think. But real quick, I was a little upset that Double Toasted didn't give a post-match interview. I just wanted to bring that up because they're funny guys. Weird. I would have liked to see them say something.
So good. They're so good. I love Double. Can I talk?
No.
I love Double Toasted. Corey and Martin are the funnest thing on the. You should watch the reviews. They're fantastic, and you should get your toasty goodness with the white shirt with the black logo. Oh no, it's backwards.
I'm with you. I think that they're really funny. They've got great stage presence. They know kind of how to cut a good promo. They know what they're doing. And I was really sad. I was just really sad that they didn't give us a second look at their, I was really sad. I just wanted more. I wanted more of them.
I think that would have been hilarious to see them talking to Jen and I feel like they probably could have been like, this is bullshit. They wanted to, just in a funny, not like in a series, they wanted to, but they could have been funny and it would have been great.
I mean, they stay there. They were there at the end because I saw a picture of the Q&A they make afterwards, whatever it is. They were in the
for the VIPs. They do that at all the live events. So that's just weird.
All right, so let's move on to the second match. Apparently, everyone in the chat thinks that it's either rigged or can go burn in a fire. I liked the second match. The trivia is what the trivia is. Unfortunately for Guy, he had that one thing. Number one, Guy was not talking into the microphone. For a guy who does stuff like this all the time, and part of his profession is literally commentating on things and interviewing people, he should know better. Talk into your microphone close enough to where they can hear you. They couldn't hear him. He wasn't talking into his microphone. So they didn't hear him ask for a JTE rule. That's not their fault that he wasn't talking into the microphone. They can't know what everyone's doing if they can't hear them. So it's kind of on him, honestly. And that maybe sounds a little mean, but
it is proven.
Yeah, you gotta talk into your microphone, dude. He did it a bunch where he was this far away from the mic talking. I'm like, that mic's not gonna do anything at all.
Especially at a live event. There's a lot of people,
especially at a live event,
who are not quiet.
No, not at all. And I know it was easier for us to hear it, but when you're there and Christian and Mark are listening in these headsets everything's filtering in through that headset. You're literally hearing everything. You're hearing the crowd, you're hearing each other, you're hearing the competitors all at the same time. Really easy to miss stuff. And it happens all the time in studio where if people start talking over each other, it's hard to hear what's going on. That's why sometimes you'll get a JTE rule that doesn't count against them because the crowd was too loud. We couldn't hear the question. In a live event like that, It's so easy for stuff to get lost for the people who are there that we can hear on the replay just fine because the mics can pick it up better for us than for people who are there. So
I had no clue Kristen was going to bring this. She is super cute. Drew,
I just him complaining like that when he's not talking into the microphone. As someone who used to work tech a lot, if someone's not talking into their microphone, I used to throw stuff at people. Talk into your microphone.
God.
I would walk up to them and I would put the microphone in their face.
I just want you to throw a mic at Andrew, guys. You see him again. Just walk around and just punt it at him. He'll have no clue what's happening because God's been watching the show.
People did not forget to talk into their microphones more than once when I was the person on tech board because I would walk outside of the board, I would walk up to the front of the thing, and I would push the microphone closer to their face, and then I would walk back to the back. I was like, I'm not messing with this. I'm done with you guys not knowing. Okay, you guys hit one of my pet peeves in life.
You brought it up.
This Schmoedown knows how to get on my nerves. Okay, so let's talk about the actual match. He had that thing in round 1. Outside of that, I think he had a fairly solid round 1, but Ben was just ridiculous. He hit opponent's choice. What are you going to do? Then hit spinner's choice, tried to get away from it, got spinner's choice again. Then you had all the shenanigans with Booker coming out with Guy and not allowing the manager for not allowing Tom out, but then allowing Robert Meyer Burnett and Roxy out and the big reveal. I think for me, a good match doesn't always have to have good trivia, but everything around it was so good. And I think they were breaking up the tension almost. At certain point, you knew the results of the match, and them breaking up the match in the way that they did. Oh, this person's coming out. Now this person's coming out. Here's a big reveal. Like if it had just been the match and then the reveal at the end, I don't think it wouldn't work as well because the match was not so great. I mean, like Guy and Bateman were good together. Like they were fighting each other and that was fun, but it just like, if it had just been that much of a blowout and then at the end they're like, here's our big reveal. Like, I think it was really nice the way that they broke it up to try and, if it had been a closer match, maybe I wouldn't have been saying that, but it just played well with the match that we got. I'm sure that Matt has a lot to say about this match because I'm sure he's crying on the inside that his fandom is fighting each other. So Matt, what did you think about this match and specifically all the stuff that happened with the match? Because there's definitely one thing I think that you want to talk about for sure.
Oh yes, I will save that for the very end of my discussion. My thoughts on that. I'm to just hijack this for a little bit. I'm gonna go because I watched the live stream. That's one of the reasons why we didn't have a reaction out, because I watched the live stream and pretty much most other people were either there or they watched the live stream or whatever. So when it started, we got that whole thing with Tom walked out with Booker T. Tom walked out with Booker T. No, Tom walked out with Ben and Booker T stopped him, which I wasn't shocked by. But then Burnett comes in and Booker T lets him go through because Juice is okay. And I'm like, okay. All right, I see how it is. Then match is going on. Ben and Drew, from the start, from when they were in the ring together, the smack talking within match was incredible. They were just both on form. I loved how Drew was just doing his thing, just perpetually. And I liked how cool Ben was playing it. Like, he would only give a comment back every so often. He wouldn't do it every time, which I liked. And then we get Roxy shows up, which I was like, I wasn't shocked because that cutscene that aired, I forget which match it aired with, where like Drew's hugging someone. Like, I was like, it's probably Roxy. I didn't know she was going to be a live event. And then Booker T lets her go through. She goes up to the ring and just puts her fingers up to Ben and walks immediately to Guy's side. And I'm just like, all right, if my boy wasn't the underdog already, he is certainly now. Everything non-trivia wise is working against him, including the crowd. Shout out to my boy Billy Belford. We all heard you on the live stream. I heard it was even crazier in match. And I hope you do that at New York. And then we get Tom and Riley walk out, to which I'm like, yes. And then we get Merle and we get Roca. And I love that Tom walks up and Booker T is going to stop him. And then Booker T and Tom, they shake hands. It's great. We get to the second round, because the first round was actually like pretty good. And then we get to the second round, and listen, we just talked about it here. Drew got opponent's choice, and Ben chose his strength movie release dates. And then Ben gets Spinner's choice, and in a move that is to the equivalent of coolness as Han Solo saying "I love you" and saying "I know" in response to Princess Leia saying "I love you," he spins again on Spinner's choice. Now he gets Spinner's choice again. I have heard from another friend of ours, Brandon Hanna.
So Brandon told,
he was watching Thad. It wasn't
they
rigged. He was
tested
watching
it. They
Thad.
tested it over and over and over again.
Can I
And
comment
it
on
happened.
that? Can I comment on that?
No.
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 Because we're not. No,
Read.
I'm sorry. We're not. Yes. Should they bring a wheel? Yes. Go support Patreon.
Dude, you're making assumptions of what I'm gonna say.
What are you going to say, Abe?
I think that was a dumb move by Ben. Even though you're 7 points ahead, you're never going to know when that's gonna backfire. Don't try.
Who cares? It was a cool move. He was. Awesome.
But like, imagine he gets opponent choice and guy gets to take every single point away from him. It's a dumb move. You don't do that like just to show off. Don't do that, competitors.
But he did show off, and it was cool.
I mean, it worked. It worked. Of course, it worked. Like it's an alternate universe, but you don't reach that option. You don't. So don't make an assumption that I think it's rigged because it's not rigged.
I know.
You know what's rigged this show?
Who made
that assumption?
Well, it wasn't more that. It was more I was on track talking about the match, and we didn't want to open up that discussion about the movie.
Who was going to talk about that? Continue, Kristen.
Okay, Matt, why don't you finish your breakdown of what happens?
So happens, which I'm just like, that's amazing. So the match happens, Drew gets knocked out, and then we have Guy sort of goes over to his corner. He's talking to Burnett and Roxy, and Tom and Riley and Merle and Roca to get in, and then Robert Burnett pulls out a chair from underneath and hands it to Guy. Guy runs to go and smack Ben with a chair, and Booker freaking T, who was supporting him the whole time, he told me on his radio show that going with my heart and voting for Ben wasn't going to work out. He stops Guy. Then when Guy tries to get out of the ring, Roca grabs him, blades it back, and Ben smacks him with a chair. And then the Five comes up. Who's the boss is now part of the Five Horsemen. Good on Roca and Merle for choosing three amazing people to join there. I will tell you guys this. I watched this live event, or at least this portion, in a Sonic drive-thru at the parking lot, and I was with my siblings, and I started to lose my shit in the car in the middle of public, and I did not give a crap. Was this match amazing trivia-wise? No. You can't control that. Ben had a great game. Drew didn't. Drew can bounce back. We've seen it before. He's a really good competitor. He'll bounce back. We saw it in the family match. But storylines and what they did and the reveals they did, this is in my top 10 matches of all time. I watched this match 2 times that night. I watched it on live stream, and then like half an hour, 40 minutes later, I watched this match again because I had such a fun time. And I still, even rewatching parts of it before this match is still so much fun for me to watch. I love, as a fan of Ben and Drew so much, and then, of course, as a fan of Team Action before, I love this storyline so much. I love the fact that Ben and Drew are so into it, and I can't wait to see what happens after this. So, yeah, those are my elongated thoughts on
definitely elongated. But I knew that you were going to have a lot to say because these guys are your favorites. I mean, when you have 2 of your favorites going against each other, you're always going to have a lot of complicated thoughts, and this definitely was a complicated match. Malcolm, why don't you share your thoughts on the Yeah, the match.
Follow
thing.
that, Malcolm.
You know, the thing.
Yeah, no, I thought this was. I really loved this match. This was the most WWE-like match that the Schmoedown's probably ever done. And I loved every minute of it. It's like the
Random
interruptions, the like the competitors just coming out to ringside throughout the match. It was just one of those WWE-like moves. I'm not going to comment too much on the real because I mean the real is the real. Because even in the fan leagues, when it comes to digital reels, they can either work really well, or you can get some or they can just spin strangely. And digital reels, you can either love them or you hate them. I think that part of the reason Ben decided to respin again was probably the fact he noticed in the first match that it was also spinner's choice as well. So I thought he'll try and do it to prove that the wheel is random. It's not. But yeah, I mean, this match made me really like Ben because he finally got the revenge on Andrew after tackling him through a coffee table by going for the next better thing than a coffee table and grabbing a chair that guy just brought into the ring himself. So guy's got himself to blame for that. The one question I do have after this match is, where does Roxy fit when it comes to management? Does this mean the old couple is now part of that same faction, or
I don't think so.
No,
yeah.
I think she was there legitimately
Screw
for
you, Ben. It was
revenge
for you, Ben.
purposes. She wasn't there for being a part of the faction or whatever. I think the faction is literally just Robert Meyer Burnett, Drew, and Drew. You know, I think that's a fair faction.
She just supports when it comes to the Civil War. She is total,
yes,
as
she's a guy
she
girl.
likes to proclaim, guy girl. Well,
Yeah.
I'm a Ben Man.
A Ben.
That's the new
Ben
thing.
man.
I'm Ben Man.
Ben man.
That's what I'm starting.
You're a bait man? Is that
No, Ben Man.
no? I mean, but
He's a
don't
he's a
know.
Batman.
a Batman. Get the fuck out. Yeah,
I am the knight.
You know, so I was on record on one of the summits that never aired, that we recorded.
What?
If you if you physically assault someone in the Schmoedown, you should pay a price for it. And I was against how easy Roxy got off with her assault on Ben, and I am against the fact that probably no action is going to be taken against Ben for hitting guy with the chair. Did he try and do it first? Yes, but they took the chair away from him for it to be self-defense. He literally would have had to try and hit Ben with the chair. Ben takes the chair and then hits him with it. It's not self-defense. There's nothing like at that point, Andrew was defenseless. So Ben is hitting a defenseless person. I understand this is wrestling. I understand. These aren't wrestlers. So for
But
me,
it was Booker T rules, Kristen Smith.
if Booker T comes in and says it was my house and I allow it,
That's what didn't her off
That
on the
was-
stream.
that-
They didn't say that. Booker T was like, "There's gonna be no suspense. Like this
I
is
mean,
okay."
I get it. I just think they need to come out and do like an official video saying we know what happened, and you know,
This is Booker
he
T,
said-
five-time
he said
WCW
whatever
Hall of
happens,
Famer,
happens.
here to say Ben Thompson.
I need there to be like an official statement because I
just think it gets
I
to
just don't
show
like
that
it. I
Christian
don't like
Harloff
it.
like violence.
Christian
We've
Harloff-
discussed these
Kristen
several
Smith
times.
doesn't like
He's
violence.
a fan of violence in the Schmoedown.
I just
But
I
that-
don't
yeah.
like that this
No, no, no.
season it's been like all the stuff that's been happening, all the assaults that's happened.
Listen,
There's
Kristen,
not.
Ben
It's been
can
like
get
on the wrist
but
every
listen,
time. It's crazy to me.
And if the Chicago event taught us anything, let's see. Roxy slaps Ben in the face in front of thousands of people. She misses one match. So let's assume that since Ben hits guy with a chair, probably get a slap on the wrist. I mean, those are apparently what we've been shown.
He's not going to get anything because that happened. But I just kind of want them to do an official statement, like Booker comes on and says, "I already said it. You know, this is what happened. They both agreed to it. And so that's that. And I know he already said that that's what was going to happen, but I want like the official statement that it was Booker T's rules. They both agreed to it. I think it just needs to be like a podium type thing, you know?
I'm not sure if that's needed because I might have to find this somewhere, but Cool Guy says wrestling rules. Guys fall for requesting it. I think that might be true. I think Drew at some point in some video might have said something about like wrestling rules. I feel
they
did.
They talked about it beforehand, and it was already brought up. But I just want there to be like the official statement that takes all question out of it.
We should have on Monday in the same way that they dealt. If Collider Live is going to be where they're doing with this stuff, which is fine, we should have Harloff on Monday be like, now that everyone's seen the match, now we could say Drew requested wrestling rules, Ben agreed to it. Because of this, Ben will not be suspended for hitting Drew with a chair.
That's fine. I don't like that all of this is done behind a door that I don't get to see. So I just want to see it happen on camera.
But I agree. I think it should be dealt with on camera too.
I think so. I think that all of this should be dealt with. They should all sit around a table and just like hash it out. And I would love to see that. Please make that happen.
But away from that, one of my favorite lines in this was early on when on the announcer's desk, when Christian was trying to read a question but was flubbing it, like Mark Harris just not really said Christian needs glasses.
That was fun. He does. He's an old man and he needs glasses. I'm sorry, Christian, if you do watch this, you're not that old, but you probably do need glasses. I also need glasses. I have a pair that I never wear. So I understand your pain.
I have a glass of water.
Good for you. All right. So I understand his pain. I hate wearing glasses. I never wear them, but I own them and they're sitting in my house somewhere. But
I'm
they make me look like a dork,
glasses, but I don't. It's probably why I'm going to go blind one day.
Yeah, I'm probably also going to go blind. Anyway, whatever. There's so much stuff in that match. I love the reveal. So let's talk about the 5 horsemen. We all saw it coming. I mean, a Christian posted on the Facebook page, if the match had gone the other way, Roca would have turned his back and Ben and Tom wouldn't have been in. He would have basically said, no, they can't come in now that they lost, or now that Ben lost. And Riley was going to abandon the 5 horsemen to stay with Ben. And I love that. I think that would have been a really fun way to go.
That's what I predicted to happen.
But I think that the majority of people kind of knew that the 5 horsemen were going to take Ben in and incorporate Dagnino. And the thing I love about this the most is Roca has never really had a manager, and he is a player that will benefit so much from having a manager.
Not just a manager, having Tom
is the best man. Tom is the best manager in the league. I know in the unaired summit that no one will ever see. I talked a lot about Kaiser, about how he's the best manager because he's hilarious. We talked a lot about Kaiser.
Although the sad part about this being live is we're not going to get Tom's image up in the corner anymore.
That's true. No Tom's image. You know what? Kaiser's great, but Tom is the best manager in the league that they've ever seen. Kaiser might be great for this season. He might be the best one this season, but Tom is the best of all time. He is the real boat. I'm sorry, Brad Gilmore. Brad was great at the desk. I wish they had let him talk more. He was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
That was strange, but I think to just go off that, I think that this is they were making the joke during the post-match interviews about how like this is a trial period with Tom, but I just think for Roca, Merle maybe not so much, but I think for Roca having Tom as manager is going to be so helpful because we know how, especially when it's serious matches, like I feel like having Tom for Corruption is going to be so good because he can focus on getting into the mental state to play because this is going back to, this is going back to not a great time for him.
Yeah.
I feel like having Tom to be the one who can be crap talking Mike and Chance and Ken on Twitter and in the pre-match smack talk, and like even walking into the match, like that's gonna be so useful to him.
Yeah. Oh, and
Like, it's gonna. I
Roka
honestly
is
think it's gonna
the
improve his game because he's gonna be
for
able to
sure.
focus on the
I
game
hope so.
more. Because Tom can focus on
Yeah.
the getting mentally into the other team's heads. That's
Yeah.
what he does so well.
Well, and Roka is like the number one offender for getting stuck in your own head during matches. Pretty much almost every match he's lost. He's lost because he gets stuck in his own head and he flubs answers that he should know. I mean, there's been very few matches that he's lost where he's just honestly lost. Those are the ones that the match was so close and he lost because the other person just played a better game. There are a lot of losses on his record that happened because he gets upset about something or flustered. And there are definitely people who have used against him. Definitely Andrew Guy has used it against him because people know that's what happens to him. Having a manager will help you so much. I cannot wait to see their first match with Tom as a manager because I really, really believe that John is going to benefit a lot from having a manager.
I can't wait for the Founding Fathers corruption match to happen to just see that walkout with all of them. It's gonna be amazing.
I love it. I cannot wait.
I feel like knowing, because I know Merle is a big fan of the series, I'm hoping one day we get a Fellowship of the Ring intro.
Oh my gosh.
Like that would be so great. There's not enough to be the full Fellowship,
No,
but I feel
there's
like
not.
Tom as Gandalf could work. You know,
Tom
like,
as
do it.
Gandalf.
Make it happen.
Well, Roka's definitely got to be Gimli because he only likes the dwarves.
Riley is Aragon because he's the best of the Fellowship and he's the best.
I think that's fine.
I think Merle is Frodo because the belt is the one ring, the one belt, the one ring. That
and
could work
he's
out.
the entire point of the whole series.
Yeah.
Fair.
Roka could be.
I'm okay with this. Yeah.
No, make it happen, guys.
Ben can be Bill the Pony.
No, he'll
all
be
right,
Legolas.
so
He'll be Legolas.
fine, he can be Legolas. Malcolm, why don't you? We've been talking a lot. Is there anything that you wanted to say about the Horseman reveal?
I mean, like the Horseman reveal, I could see, like, I had a feeling it was going to happen at the Houston live event because if you're going to have a big reveal like that, because I mean, like I was talking to Matt about this sort of on Skype one time that like every live event has had a big reveal of something. Like we had the first Five Horsemen reveal way back ages ago. I think it was the first one.
First live event, I think.
Yeah, but
pretty sure.
But yeah, it's like you've had a lot of reveals that have kept people talking, so on. So
yeah,
I'm
with you.
Yeah,
I'm with you. What else? Anything else?
I mean, I just can't wait to see Thomas with the first promo. This is essentially the Horseman is now like Roka with Dan and Riley. Then he's got former enemies in his same side, so he's like.
Yeah, Brandon, the intern boss baby, who I don't know who you are. Let us know that it's the second live event, not the first. Thank you, boss baby.
I think. Can I just because I was also thinking about this. This faction is great because you have two great teams, and also all four of the competitors are also really good in singles. So that's a really good that's a good faction to have at your disposal to be like any one of them can hold the. I know Merle's holding the belt now, but say Merle loses it, any four of them could hold the belt. Either one of the teams could be the team champs. Like
there's no one the only big flaw they have is they don't have anyone at Intergeekdom. I know Roka has been threatening to join the Star Wars League. There's no I love you, Roka. You're a great friend and I really appreciate that you are a good person. But you have no chance in the Star Wars League.
John, this is your old friend Scott Mance. I just want to remind you about Bespin. Don't do it.
I know he's been studying, and I know that he's doing it, but Alex at this point has written the book on the Star Wars.
How many times has he been watching Star Wars Explained? That's
not enough. probably, because that's how everyone else studies. We're done with this match. It was what it was. It was a great storyline. The match itself,
It was amazing.
the trivia was just okay, and I think Ben tried his hardest. In the back of my mind, I think Ben wanted to spin again because he was like, "This guy's my brother. I want him to have a chance."
You think
You know,
this is-
he wanted
Nah.
he
Nah.
wanted to give him one more
No.
chance,
Nah.
and
I
it just
feel like,
didn't.
you know what?
Nah.
This is Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Like, I feel like there is
Yeah.
that moment where it's
You
like,
were my brother.
you were
I
my,
loved
like,
you.
No, not even that. I think just like that moment on the platform to where it's just like he wants to turn him back so bad, but
Yeah,
then it's
he
just
wants him back to the light
so
side.
far gone that it's
He
just
can't
not
do
going to
it.
happen.
He killed
And
younglings. It's the end of the road.
It's just going to happen. Oh my god, I love it.
Okay, so let's move on. We have just a few more things to talk about here. There's a lot of stuff happening. If you guys don't follow the competitors on Twitter, you definitely should.
Yeah,
Because
what is
the Smack Talk on Twitter recently has just been insanity between Mike and Janine, and Kevin Smets has been in there feuding away with people, and Tim Franco, the greatest of all
what is
time, has been around.
What about the singer?
And the Boss
The one-
Baby. What?
Oh yeah, that one, the singer, Hannah Montana, right?
Yeah, Hannah Montana was there.
Everybody makes mistakes. Everybody has those days. Everybody knows what.
Brandon's a good guy. I'm not going to pretend. I think yesterday I pretended that I didn't know who he was. Today
Nobody's
I know who you are,
perfect.
Brandon. You're very cool.
I
Yeah,
don't know
but
who you are, Brandon, but you're cool.
the feuding
Isn't
has
Brandon
just
the
been
clone of
amazing.
Ben Bateman?
He's the intern. He's the boss baby. He doesn't like when I call him that. So I'm going to keep doing it for the rest of time because I think it's funny.
Maybe like that movie that was robbed of the Academy Award.
It's a bad movie. You shut your mouth.
I
have seen that movie and I did not like it. It was bad.
Also, Kristen doesn't like it, so I didn't know Kristen was in the Academy.
It was not a good movie. I'm just saying.
You're
Okay,
not a
so
good movie.
I just want to do a PSA. If you're not following people on Twitter, you probably should. And if you're on Twitter, I'm sorry, but there's just a lot of smack talk, and it's really, really funny to just like sit back and like eat some popcorn. Loved it.
I literally, that was my GIF in that whole. I just put a GIF of the guy who he pulls out the folding over chair. He's like, "It's gonna be good," and I sat back and watched it.
Yeah, seriously. Like people, it is just the most entertainment you can have just reading through a Twitter feed. It's so much fun. The other thing is there are so many great news stories on the Trivia SD site. A few of them about feuds between Mike and Janine, and then another article about the current feuds within the Schmoedown. Both of those articles were so much fun to read. I really enjoyed them. If you guys aren't reading the articles, you probably should.
Crazy.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna be so much fun.
And then we're gonna get Smets and Kalinowski.
I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I legitimately am going to probably switch who I'm going to have winning that match about every other day until the match airs. But we do want to talk about the upcoming matches. So this week we have The Kid, Brandon Meyer versus Drew Grant. Now, Drew Grant is a rookie, and Brandon Meyer has had a match. So it's a weird thing for me to have a rookie coming in facing someone who already has a record, already has a win under their belt. He won, right? He did. He won. Yeah.
He lost to Paul Yama.
He you're right. You're right. I did not remember that he was the one who went up against Paul. Okay, so maybe it makes a little more sense. It makes a little more sense.
I think I'm the most well-versed person in this model.
This is why Abe is on all of our streams, so he can tell me when stuff is wrong.
No. I think I won the poll for who was going to beat you in that Schmoedown match.
Oh, do you know I won against you? And a match we recorded in September and never aired.
There's no video footage to prove that.
You're correct.
Abe won the match. Spoiler alert to a match that will probably never air. That was filmed. Abe won the match. Yeah, so I don't know Drew Grant at all. I don't know how he's going to play. I know Brandon. He's a solid player. I have really enjoyed his cutscenes with Bibbs. It's adorable. It makes me smile. So just for that, Brandon can win. What do you guys think? Does anyone know who Drew Grant is?
She's a woman.
Who? Is it a woman?
Yes.
But the name is Drew. I just assumed someone's
Well,
name
there's
is
Drew
Drew.
Barrymore.
That's true. That's true,
Kristen,
but you know,
presumptuous
whatever.
over here. For someone who gets mistaken often in the MTS page for being
I mean,
Kristen
she's.
Harloff,
I'm
a
sorry,
man,
but can I? I'm gonna tell you who she is. She's no
I
slouch.
just looked her up.
And today it's her birthday. He's senior editor of
She works
Collider.
for Collider. Okay,
Yeah,
well now I know
senior
who she
editor.
is. Well,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for calling you a boy.
Ooh.
Uh,
Based on that,
you know, your name is Drew. I'm sorry.
I still don't know who's
Hi.
gonna win because we have we have a rookie going up against someone who I don't even really remember that Oyama kid match. Honestly, that's what I mean.
I do.
I watch a lot
Now
of
that
Schmoedown
I've been reminded
content,
about it.
guys. Like I watch a lot of this stuff. So what I'm saying is I don't remember if it was like it came
No,
down to the 5-pointer.
Brandon had a pretty good match. He
Uh,
had a good round one.
Brandon scored 10 points in the third round, then Paul
Yeah.
got it and answered that two first
Okay,
questions.
Yeah. It was a good match.
even
It was a
though
really
even
good
though
match.
Still, he's had one match and it's going up against a rookie. I usually give people 2 to 3 matches before I start saying
And
if
went
they're
13
great
rounds
or
in the
not.
free for all.
Yeah.
Okay. I may or may not have watched a freestyle this year.
Oh, he was
I'm
ridiculously
going
good at the free for all. See,
undecided on this
that's
one.
kind of more what I'm going based off of. Is he at this point? I feel like has proven that he needs a good competitor. So if Drew is a good competitor, if she can hold it, you know, with the best of them, then great. I'm looking forward to the match. But well, I will say this. The last person they've brought in from the writing team on the Schmoedown was Haley Fouch, and she's fantastic. So
Haley's great.
we could be in for a really good treat. I'm actually kind of excited about this match now that I know who she is. I don't read Collider articles. I don't read anything anymore. I don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
You don't even read to your daughter?
I do. I read a lot of kids' books. I've got like 5 kids' books
you
literally
heard it.
sitting
You
right
said-
next to
you
me.
said you don't read anymore. Therefore,
I
you don't read to
I
your
don't
daughter.
read anything that's not about crayons or puppies losing
Hey,
their
I read
socks
about
or
puppies all the time. It's no problem.
Can I read a
Anyway.
book? I'm reading
no.
right now.
We're gonna get through this,
Is it the
and then we're gonna end the
It's
episode. Okay,
Gabriel Garcia
who
Marquez.
do
He
you
won the
think is-
Nobel Prize in '83.
Hey, Malcolm, who do you think's winning the match between Brendan and Drew?
I think Brendan's going to probably win because I mean, like he's been in a few matches, so that he's had the impact of the lights. We don't know much about like Drew his new, so the lights may get to it. And I mean, Brandon did ridiculously well in the free fall, so he is really knowledgeable.
But
Yep.
as
Sure.
Cool Guy brings up here, John Humphrey did well in the first free for all, and then got TKO by Mark and Draco in his.
Well,
match.
there's a difference. John Humphrey barely hung on for every single round he was in. Brandon was within the top couple people for every round he was in. So he was hardly ever up for elimination while he was in the free for all.
Yeah,
There's a little bit of a difference.
I mean, I
But,
was just shouting out the Cool Guy because he's been talking.
He's a
on the
cool
show,
guy.
as a lot of people have.
He is a cool guy.
Very lively chat.
But I mean, in that point, Mark and Draco wasn't a rookie either. So
That's true.
But yeah,
It wasn't Draco's third match.
I love when the summit becomes it's not the Matt why he's wrong.
But anyway, if we keep adding people with the same names, I mean, we should have a Drew triple threat because we've got Drew McReady,
Oh, there you go.
Drew Guy, and now Drew Grant.
We can have a Mark, like million.
We could have a Mark
people.
free for
Oh
the
my
A
Mark
Mark
era.
free for all. Just all the marks. All the marks. Too many marks.
we have a lot
Matt,
of Johns who competed.
yeah, I think more marks at this point. But
Okay.
Matt, who do you have winning this match?
What about
between,
Humberto?
Brendan and
I can't be undecided anymore. I guess I'll have to go with the kid just based. I've seen him compete, and I
Yeah.
haven't seen the rookie compete.
Yeah.
And it's like it'd be one thing. I don't read Clara articles a ton either, so it'd be one thing if like I've read all her articles and I'm like, oh, she's super knowledgeable about this, but I don't don't know anything about your trivia knowledge. So
Yeah, me neither. And that's kind of where I'm at.
Wrong.
I think it's just the safest bet to pick Brendan. He's kind of proven
I don't
himself
like
at this
we're in a
point.
competition or anything for this anymore.
Yeah.
You know, this
Prove us
remind me
wrong,
on
Drew.
some.
Prove us wrong.
This remind me of something. We go back a while ago, right? Whitney Seibel versus David Del Rio. We all thought Whitney was gonna win because he had the experience of a year, but a year and a half of competing in teams. What happened? David Del Rio won, and I think he TKO'd him.
Why
Yeah.
hasn't he played again? I kind of
where
need.
is he?
He's
where are
playing. He's playing. This woman
Christian
that
dropped. Yeah, Christian dropped a lot of knowledge on Collider Live about the upcoming.
Oh, see, I haven't watched. I'm too busy at work to watch.
But we can talk about that next week in the
We can
Reactors
talk about it
Summit.
next week. We're very excited for next week. Okay, Shire Wolves versus the Odd Couples, the second match. I cannot wait for this match. The Shire Wolves are going to completely annihilate the Odd Couple, and I just want to see them get sliced and diced. But not really. But like the Shire Wolves are just going to own. And I'm just very excited. I'm very excited. It's going to be the best thing ever. Matt, who's winning? If you don't say the Shire Wolves, I'm kicking you from the call.
The Odd Couple got lucky in Chicago. If Who's the Boss was playing the Char Wolves, you know where my allegiances lie here. The Odd Couple is about to be silenced by the Shire Wolves. Shire Wolves are going to retain the belt.
Thank you, Matt.
Shut up, Abe.
Thank you, Matt. Okay, Malcolm, I know who you're picking, and I'm cool with it. So you're allowed to be on the call. Who do you think's going to win?
Well, I think Kristen is wrong. I think she doesn't know who I'm picking.
Wait,
I am picking the Shire Wolves.
Thank you.
Obviously.
Okay, I was gonna say you're one of the biggest Shire Wolves supporters around.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way the Shire Wolves are getting the Odd Couples getting past the Shire Wolves. I
would be shocked.
They're just that good.
Yeah, I just would be shocked. I think that they are on a roll. I think that they're this,
and they've been prepping. Like it's not like they're like Rocky at the beginning of Rocky 3 where he wins the belt and then better example. It's not like Apollo in Rocky 1 where he doesn't take Rocky seriously as a competitor. They know the Odd Couple's good, so they've been prepping for it. It's not like they're like, oh, do I have a match today? Okay, let me go to Collider. They're ready for this.
The only other thing next week going up is the Harry Potter exhibition match. I don't know who's playing.
That's a thing.
It's gonna be awesome. It's on the Patreon page.
Emma.
No, I don't think Emma's playing. She set the whole thing
Emma's
up.
on the disc.
She
wrote it.
Yeah, she set everything up. She said it's going to be a little different than a normal match. I cannot wait. She said there's going to be new people, but that it's not been announced too, as far as I know.
I think they have announced who's in it because I think
Roka's
definitely in it from what I've.
Well, yeah, I knew that, but she said they're going to be new people to the league in it.
Yeah,
and I don't know that they've announced that.
So I guess we'll see that. So, guys, based on that information, who do you think is going to win the match?
I have no idea. Roka, he's the only one I know for sure is in it.
I'll go with the fans.
Well, the cool guy says Kevin Smets is also playing.
Oh, yeah.
And Lim Horsey.
And that's it for the Take 3's Reactor Summit that I need to make American buttercream right now.
Kim Horsey.
We're forgetting. Roka
Aaron Zek. Thanks, Brian and Yunsan and the cool guy. They know everything. We're just gonna let you guys do all of the work for us from now on. Just make sure you're in our chat telling us the answers to everything.
If you guys want to be on the summit, send a message to I don't care at demo.com. I actually have that registered.
We've really liked our live chat. We might start doing these live more often. The live chat has been a lot of fun. You guys are great.
Not gonna edit them
because Abe is not going to edit them. But also, you guys have been really fun in the chat. So thank you guys a lot for helping us know what's going on because I'm too busy to actually research all of this before Summit.
In the classic Escape from New York, I'm too tired.
Okay, we're just bumbling around.
I'm too old for this shit. All right, let's do our plugs. Abe, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at AbrahamF25. You can follow me on Instagram at AbrahamFlores25, where I post pictures of food. Right now, I made macarons, and they came out pretty good compared to yesterday. Yesterday, they burned. Like, literally burned. Like, my heart. And everything. And that's it.
All right.
Macaroons, those
I have
French
you
cookies.
talked way too fast. I have no idea what you said. My
96.
brain does
Look,
not.
I'm gonna give you the recipe. 96. You go with grams. This has to be precise. Baking is a precise science, right?
I know, but we don't have
96
time for that.
grams of.
We don't have time for that. Do it later. All right. Where can we find you, Matthew Kearns?
You guys, as always, can find me at Kearns_Matthew on Twitter, MattMovies611 on YouTube and WordPress. And you can find me right here hosting Second Look. Episode Moneyball will hopefully be coming this week. And you can also find me on Rhyme and Reason. Apologies that we haven't put an episode up. Me and Say Dave just had very busy schedules, but we're hoping to record an episode next week. We have a special guest lined up for the episode after next, but I'm not going to say who it is because if it doesn't happen, that would suck. And you guys should also follow Action Industries on Twitter because it's a pretty cool page. I'm just saying, it's definitely cooler than any pages who would consider themselves top 10.
Whatever. Get out of here. Follow top 10 at the top 10.
Yeah, they don't post anything, so
we post stuff once a week.
Oh,
busy. Leave me alone. It's better than them posting nothing for 3 years. Okay, Malcolm, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me hosting Rankin every Sunday night, but tomorrow there won't be an episode. A lot of scheduling.
Maybe there's one.
Maybe there will be one. Apparently, I don't know. I'm not hosting it, so we'll be back the week after with Batman Villains.
Maybe.
You can find me hosting Full Metal Random every Tuesday night. This week is a How I Met Your Mother match with our very own Robert Parker taking on Brooklyn, taking on Ryan Payne, and you can find me all over the place competing in trivia on Multiplex or Full Metal and all that. And Twitter Letterboxd Stardust at Melchor.
Christian, I forgot to plug something. Can I say?
Okay, go ahead.
You can find me as the new host of Late Night with Take 3. I'm taking over from Brooklyn Bell, who left the show, and he left it to me. I hosted last week. It was my first episode. It came out fantastic, so you can watch next week. We're going to be talking about Abraham's... my dad's birthday is next week, so we're going to talk about my dad's 61st birthday. Damn, he's old.
All right. Well, you can find me, as always, Smith_K10, the number, not the word, on Twitter, Instagram, and Stardust, even though I don't post anything on Stardust. You can also find me right here on Take 3, hosting the Take 3 Reactor Summit, which I guess we're going to do live now just because it's great. Live is great. I love live. You guys can see all of our chaos that Abe doesn't edit out of the episodes anyway. You can also find me. We're going to put up our last episode of our Take the Throne show, our recap of this last season of Game of Thrones. Eventually, I'm just really busy with work, so we just have to find time to record that last episode, and then it'll be up, and it's just going to be a recap of the last episode and then the entire season. Really excited about it. It's just, it is what it is. So yeah, next week we can't wait to talk about more Schmoedown stuff. We hope to see you guys back, and if you haven't gone to the original matches to like and comment them, please do. It does help them a lot. I don't care if you like and comment our videos, but make sure you're liking and commenting the Schmoedown stuff.
Can you do us a favor? Like and comment us. We need it more than Schmoedown.
Do it. Hey, you know what? They're whatever. All right, so that's all for us. So we hope you guys all have a great Memorial Day.